This one is very, very loosely based on the very, very real Canadian maple syrup heist from 2011 and 2012. This is on Amazon Prime. Let's talk about The Sticky. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV series review of The Sticky. This is streaming just 6 episodes on Amazon Prime. It's a quick, breezy watch. They're all just a half hour. And Margot Martindale is the star. She's been behind the scenes of a lot of great shows over the years and movies too. Most notably, maybe The Americans, but she's got a lot of history under her belt. You've definitely seen her in something over the years. But now she is front and center in this. And we'll talk about it in just a second. But first, let me welcome you back to Dan Reviews It. If you are one of my subscribers already, thank you so much for that. Always love having you guys return. But if you're not, please consider subscribing. Click that notification bell. Or you can just like this video, comment below as well. That stuff all helps the channel out, and I certainly do appreciate it. So in this show, you have Margot Martindale as Ruth Landry. And I'm not even sure if this is a real person. This show, and it makes it clear at the start of every episode that this is not really the true events of what happened, but it is based on the idea of this Canadian syrup heist. So I don't believe this Ruth Landry person is real, but that's who Margot Martindale plays. She is a Canadian maple syrup farmer, and is learning that her farm is under threat, and she, as revenge, plots to steal millions of dollars of maple syrup, which, this show does teach us. This stuff, I guess, is part of the true thing of the show, is that, maple syrup in Canada is a true commodity. Like, people really go to kind of war over it. That stuff is sort of real. I didn't quite know that until watching this show, but that is the real deal. But you also have Chris Diamantopoulos as Mike Byrne. I know him probably best from the Three Stooges movie, but I'm sure he's done a lot of other things. And you have Jamie Lee Curtis in a supporting role as well. So this is very much in the vein, and I think intentionally so, of the Coen brothers type stuff, specifically, I guess, Fargo, and some of their more crime capery type of movies. But Fargo, I guess, specifically because it's set in an area that is very close to Canada, and it sort of got those same types of vibes, I guess. But this was produced by Jason Blum of Blumhouse, who usually does more horror type stuff. Blumhouse is a horror shop, really, but Blum has reached out into other venues as well. This is not, like when I say Fargo, this doesn't have like the bloody violence of that per se, but it definitely has those sort of Coen brothers vibes. And I would say the biggest detriment maybe there's a few, I guess. So maybe let's talk about the positives first, shall we? Let's start there. Margot Martindale is great. I've loved her for a long, long time. And like I said, she's been in so many things over the years, movies and TV shows alike. But her highest profile role, I think, is probably in The Americans. But anyway, she's usually a side character. She's usually, either recurring or just sort of on the sidelines, and she appears, sporadically when she needs to. In The Americans, she had a more prominent role, but again, definitely not in every episode. But here, it's nice to see her front and center carrying her own show. And she does really carry this because other than, the Jamie Lee Curtis character is interesting enough, I guess. I think if she were played by somebody other than Curtis, maybe not so much, but Curtis does give it that sort of gravitas that she always brings to any role, really. You could say the same about her role in Everything Everywhere All at Once. If that wasn't Jamie Lee Curtis, does that role have, or does that character have as much impact? I don't know. That's kind of how I felt here with her character. But that's definitely, as we veer, I guess, a little more into the detriments to the show, is the side characters are not as interesting. They're more one note, not as fleshed out. And look, you'll get this maybe with a 6-episode, half-hour series. There's only so many minutes to kind of get your ideas across, get the story going, and focus on the main character. So the side characters unfortunately fall a little bit by the wayside. But Margot is having a great time. She is really relishing this role, and she's killing it. I mean, she's doing such a great job with this role. So that is definitely a positive. And actually, even though I just sort of maybe viewed this as a little bit of a negative because it doesn't give us enough time to flesh some of the other characters out, this is a breeze to watch. I mean, they didn't belabor the point here. A lot of these shows, and I talk about this a lot on my channel because of the way streaming is now, where you get anywhere from 6 to 13 episodes, and some bite off a little more than they could chew, and there's like 8-hour-long episodes where there doesn't need to be. This is just get in, tell your story, get out. There's some humor here. I don't think it's as funny as they wanted it to be. Certainly not as bitingly funny as a Coen Brothers movie, per se. But Martindale makes that humor work. She's got a sharp wit about her character, and she uses it, and basically everybody around her is sort of the idiots circling, and she calls them out on it around every corner. And so that is fun. So I will give that as a positive too, is that this show certainly doesn't belabor the point. It doesn't overstay its welcome at all. And it does, I think, leave the possibility for a potential second season. I don't know if this is listed as a mini series or a regular series, but I think there is opportunity here for future installments. However, it also comes right at the same time as another show about desperate people doing desperate things, and that is Netflix's No Good Deed, which I reviewed last week, and I thought was much better than this. That's Lisa Kudrow and Ray Romano, and I thought, again, a little more time with the characters because it was eight episodes, but I think they were half hours, right? So a little more time, but they packed so much more story into that than they do here. The writing is so much sharper there. So coming right at the same time as that show was potentially a mistake, because it's a lot easier for me to compare and contrast and say, oh, well, that was so much better, ticking this box, and this box. But look, there is some merit here. Certainly Martindale is gluing this all together, really, with her outrageous antics and just a great star performance, as we usually do see from her, but again, more from the sidelines. So this was nice to see her front and center. This was a little bit of a miss for me, but I do think because of its short length, it is worth a watch. So I will leave it with a slight positive. I give The Sticky a C+, and you can check that out now on Amazon Prime. Just those 6 episodes, and like I said, I don't know, maybe we'll get a season 2 of this down the line at some point. I don't know. But in any event, thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It, and I'll see you next time. Bye.